Welcome to episode 718 of the Biker Angle. On today's show, we will explore the outrageous statement by some in the law enforcement community that SOA is responsible for the rise in OMGs, as they call it, or motorcycle clubs, as we call it. Also, we will hit on a truly scary-ass story developing. Chicago is poised to implement a universal wage program. Yes, you heard it right, a universal wage program. If you don't know, this is the first step towards a socialist platform by the Democratic Party. Also, real quick, if you're listening on Instagram TV, right now we are only allowed to upload 10 minutes at this time. You want to catch the rest of the show? Go ahead and head over to YouTube. That's our channel at InsaneThrottleBikerNews.com, and you'll be able to hear the rest of the show. So, Nova Scotia RCMP say membership in outlaw motorcycle gangs is on the rise in the province, thanks to the popularity of the television series that went off the air about 3.5 years ago. Ever since the phenomenon of Sons of Anarchy, more people want to join that life. They think it's a brotherhood, said Constable Scott Morrison. They think the camaraderie is there based on the television show, and they are joining up. Morrison was part of a presentation on biker gangs to the Halifax Board of Police Commissioners. RCMP Constable Scott Morrison said many of the friend or support clubs in Nova Scotia are affiliated with either the Bacchus or the Hells Angels, according to Radio Canada. Morrison said the clubs can shift and merge, but they are not going away. For instance, there are no longer any chapters of the Gatekeepers, but there are still 14 outlaw support and friend clubs across the province with up to 200 members. Support clubs do not necessarily operate under the direction of a biker gang, but can work as security and sell gear at events. Hells Angels and Outlaws rivalry. Friend clubs do not get involved with the drug trade or violence associated with it, such as collecting debts. The Hells Angels have been selling t-shirts at an annual rat rally in Digby, but police pointed out sales were supporting a criminal organization and it's no longer given a vendor permit. Many of the friend or support clubs in Nova Scotia are affiliated with either the Bacchus or the Angels, but a new club called the Black Pistons recently opened in Cape Brennan. It's affiliated with the Outlaws, who are deadly rivals with the Angels. There have been a number of violent clashes in New Brunswick attributed to this rivalry. The public could be hurt in the crossfire, said Morrison. That's why we want to send a message that they're not welcome here. RCMP says they soon expect the Black Pistons Club to open in the Halifax area. First off, it's a damn show, people. You know, for entertainment purposes, yes, there has been an explosion in pop-up clubs since 2008, and many in the scene do attribute it to SOA. God forbid we will be seeing even more pop-ups this fall when Sutter's Mayan MC comes out. Here's the thing people need to realize. There's a lot of benefits to a motorcycle club. Yes, there's the brotherhood and being a part of something. But what a lot of people do not talk about and is rarely covered is the things that make being in a motorcycle club difficult. If you're someone who enjoys their independence, then an MC will not be for you. You will have mandatory meetings, mandatory runs and parties. Sometimes the events will be boring as hell, but you have to be there because it's a mandatory. There's also the politics that come with a club. You have people trying to do their best to get into positions and will do stuff that is entirely against the meaning of brotherhood to achieve it. So when you see a show like SOA, not only is that the farthest from the truth of what an MC is like, it's not all partying and riding in a club. Shit, one of the clubs I was in, I spent more time bar chasing a club that was considered enemies than riding a motorcycle or going on runs. Actually, it becomes so routine, it actually gets you thinking, why would you want to be a part of a club in the first place? Most clubs do not last 5 years. Actually, most drop off within 1 year because the politics become so extreme, everyone just says fuck it and long to be independent again. Do I believe SOA had an effect on the MC scene? Yes and no. Yes, because you had a bunch of rubs who wanted to be badasses and didn't want to join established clubs because of the prospect time. So these people decided to start their own, and that's what causes the problems in the scene. Then no, because it's a damn show. And if people join a club because of a show, those are the ones that usually fall off the grid anyways when they find out what it's actually about. The SOA did not represent what a so-called OMG was about. You know what? That's the furthest from the truth. Yeah, there's stuff that goes on there, but it's not the club as a whole. It's usually individuals that, go off and make their money. That's the way life is. You got to make your money, do what you got to do. But it's never organized on a club level like the feds or the government try to go around saying. It's only particular people. Yes, clubs should do a better job of policing themselves because they're causing, it's causing them a lot of problems out there. And, the government uses it as an excuse for, public publicity. They get the public on their side and make the motorcycle clubs look, like they're a bunch of criminals when that couldn't be furthest from the truth. And as far as SOA, who the hell would want to join a club where you're going around murdering people, every episode? What was it, like 160 or something by the end of that program that people got killed off? For one, that had never happened in true life because there's so much technology out there. You're usually busted within the first day if you don't do anything right. There's too much technology out there and too much stuff that can go wrong. So yes, the SOA and this Mayans MC that's coming out is the furthest from what motorcycle club life is about. So remember, it's just TV, man. That's all it is. It's just a program. It's nothing more, nothing less, but entertainment. That's it. Jesus Christ. Anyway, now on to one of the biggest overreaches in U.S. history. This from the Waco Tribune. I love the Waco Tribune and Tommy Witherspoon. You know what? He's done an excellent job of covering the Waco stuff. And his article reads, the anxiety was etched across Marty Lewis's face as he emerged from the Waco Police Department. It was clear Lewis was uncomfortable being back in Waco. As he sat for a brief interview, one of the first things he said was that he wanted to get back on the road and out of town. Waco left him with bitterness, he said. It had to be something important to bring Lewis back to the city where the retired San Antonio police detective was arrested after a shootout between biker groups at Twin Peaks restaurant in May of 2015. The decorated former officer was locked up with 176 other bikers that day on first-degree felony charges. He was jailed for 22 days and under a $1 million bond before his attorney could negotiate a lower bond. Lewis's mugshot was spread across America as the face of the Deadly Peaks shootout. Like the half-white, half-black beard he sports, Lewis was a dichotomy, the ex-cop biker. He is a grandfather, a family man, the father of 3 successful children, and a second-generation police officer who retired after a distinguished 32-year career in law enforcement. Yet, police and prosecutors branded him and others as members of a violent street gang who came to Waco in show of force, armed to the teeth, expecting a brawl with their rivals. Yeah, it was a pretty bad thing that happened down there. Anyway, not caring if innocent families dining out after Sunday church were in the danger zone. Lewis, a member of the Balearosos Motorcycle Club, I hope I got that right, a Bandito support club, is still upset about how he and others were characterized after the gun battle that left 9 dead and 20 injured. He said he came to Waco to attend a biker coalition meeting, like he had dozens of other times across the state. Quote, "I am very disappointed. It makes you look like at life at a whole different level," Lewis said. "I just think it should have been handled a whole lot differently. Not everybody who rides a motorcycle is a criminal. Not everybody who rides a motorcycle is a bad guy. There are good and bad people in all walks of life." Which is true. No matter what you do in life, you own it. No matter if you wear a police uniform or wear a cut. I am disappointed. I expected more. Lewis was among 155 of the bikers indicted in the shootout. Now, only 27 cases remain. McClellan County DA Reyna dismissed the vast majority of the cases, including Lewis, while special prosecutors are reviewing 3 cases they are handling. A special prosecutor dismissed one of the 4 cases they were assigned, saying there was sufficient probable cause was not there to make the arrest. Lewis returned to Waco last week after making arrangements with Waco PD officials to retrieve the Glock 40 pistol he carried as a narcotics and vice detective when he was retired in 2004. He also picked up his biker cut or vest he was wearing when he went to jail. The vest means brotherhood to Lewis. However, the gun has more sentimental value. Not only was it the gun he carried for years before, but San Antonio police officials honored him on his retirement by engraving his father's badge number on the pistol in recognition for years of service. Think about that, man. They ate their own down there in Waco. After his father retired from the police department, his badge number was given to Patricia Calderon. She wore badge number 213 until she was killed in 1988. The first woman officer killed in the line of duty in San Antonio. The badge will never be issued again, and the engraving on the gun honors them both. It holds special meaning for Lewis. After his arrest, Lewis lost his job as a bus driver for the Northside Independent School District. He is now driving a shuttle bus for a San Antonio hotel. Quote, "Twin Peaks cost more than I wanted to spend," he said. "It cost my reputation, my job, it cost a lot. Just like it did to others. It really did. Everybody affected down there. It cost them everything. Think about that. I was a poster child for the national media. My face was everywhere. I had never been arrested in my life, never had a parking ticket, never had a moving violation. I feel there are no winners in this thing. There is absolutely no winners. Everybody lost in this thing, and people are still paying for it and suffering, and it's still not done with. After all these years, it's still not done." You know what? I really do hope that there's a special place in hell for Reyna. I really do. Lewis is among about 130 bikers who had filed civil rights violation lawsuits against McClellan County, the city of Waco, Reyna, and a handful of law enforcement officials. Those lawsuits are pending in federal court in Austin. Dallas attorney Don Tittle represents about 100 of those bikers in the civil lawsuits. Quote, "Marty's reputation just got trampled on," Tittle said. "His rights as an American citizen were trampled on, like so many of the other people who were there that day. It would have only taken 5 minutes to sit down and talk to him and learn this individual is a person. He's a good person with a family and a person who served with distinction in law enforcement. He proves that everything the police in Reyna said about these people is across the board false. False. After Reyna dismissed most of the criminal cases earlier this year, he also dismissed or non-suited at least 16 of the 26 forfeiture cases that were filed in June 2015. Those cases involve pickup trucks, Harley-Davidson motorcycles, and cash. State law allows prosecutors to seize cash, vehicles, property, and other valuable items that are used in a crime. If successful, the items are sold at auction and proceeds can be used to assist law enforcement, which I think is bullshit. Many of the peoples and other vehicles seized already have been returned to the owners. Some were repossessed by lenders after payments were missed. Waco Police Sergeant Swanton said detectives are working with bikers whose cases have been dismissed to return items seized at their arrest, such as Lewis's pistol and vest. Quote, special crimes detectives are releasing items when we can. No, release them now when you can, cocksucker. Swanton said we are even shipping things back to people, so we feel we are doing everything we can and we feel like we are bending over backward to accommodate people. You just hear that statement, bending over backwards for people. This fucking arrogant cocksucker. Really? Bending over backwards? Did you bend over backwards to arrest them falsely? You piece of shit. Anyway, if those cases have been dismissed, we would love to get rid of these things officially, but we can't do so without permission of the McAllen County State's Attorney. We are encouraging attorneys to reach out to the deeds office to make arrangements so we can release those vehicles and other items. Hear that, Reyna? Those that got their charges dropped because you were a false piece of shit, give them their stuff back, you cocksucker. The saga of Waco should be etched in everyone's minds. It really should. The incident was second only to the mass internment of American citizens that would happen during World War II, when the government threw people into camps for being Japanese. The Waco Twin Peaks incident was an overreach and miscarriage of justice that rocked the Texas legal system. Without proper investigation, people who had nothing to do with the fight were arrested, thrown in jail, lost their livelihoods, and because of an overreactive fucking piece of shit prosecutor looking for a career advancement. That's what happened down there. What happened in Waco is not only a travesty of justice, but a story of how government that can run wild, if not checked by the American citizens, can be a very detrimental thing to this country. And that leads to a very scary story happening out of Chicago right now. Chicago may soon become the largest municipality in the U.S. to test a universal basic income program. Chicago Alderman Paywar recently proposed legislation that would provide 1,000 families with a $500 a month stipend. No questions asked. The bill already has the backing of the majority of city lawmakers. And Power hopes, I can't even say that last name, man. Get some English last names in this motherfucker. Hopes to soon work with Mayor Ron Emanuel to implement the pilot program, The Intercept reported. Oh, you can bet that idiot Baggett, man. He's up for re-election this year. You can bet that snake will. Quote, nearly 70% of Americans don't have $1,000 in the bank for an emergency, Power told the outlet. UBI could be an incredible benefit for people who are working and having a tough time making ends meet or putting food on the table at the end of the month. Well, ain't that called work? Anyway, Power campaigned to earn a slot on the ballot for Illinois governor, but withdrew his name from contention after being outspent by his opponents, the outlet reported. In addition to $500, the bill would adjust the earned income tax credit program to allow the families to put their tax credit towards their monthly mortgage payment, according to the outlet. Power cited automation with companies such as, Tesla, Amazon, and the other car manufacturers investing in the technology as having the potential to disrupt millions of jobs. So now they're blaming the internet why people can't make money. That in turn would lead to more political destabilization. You heard that. Political destabilization. That's the setup. Chicago wouldn't be the only city testing the waters to give residents free money. Stockton, California, go figure, liberal California, also has proposed a universal basic income program with the backing of wealthy Silicon Valley moguls. There's the second setup that will pay 100 residents $500 a month without any conditions. The program purpose is to eventually ensure that no one in Stockton, with a population of 300,000 now, do the math, lives in poverty. The program, which allows the 100 lucky residents to use the money for anything they want, will launch in 2019 and last 18 months before officials decide whether to roll out the program citywide. Alaska has issued every resident of the state a check since 1976 as part of the Alaskan Permanent Fund, which is tied to oil revenue and varies on amount, but last year equaled $1,100. Countries overseas have also utilized some sort of cash transfer program, with Finland recently putting an end to the program that gave 2,000 unemployed working-age people €560 per month. Tech titans have chimed in their support, go figure, for a universal basic income, with Tesla founder Elon Musk tweeting last month, "It will be necessary over the time if AI takes over most human jobs." There's a third setup. Facebook's Zuckerberg, or Sucker Turd as I call him, said during a Harvard commencement speech that last year we should explore ideals like universal basic income to make sure that everyone has a cushion to try new ideals. Business magnate Richard Branson also jumped on the bandwagon. This is unreal. A 2017 Pew Research study found that 60% of Americans, 60%, favor the government providing a guaranteed income that will allow them to make their basic needs. As workers with high school's diploma were most likely to support the universal basic income at 65%, and workers with a 4-year college degree at more than 52%. So, you heard them numbers. 60% of Americans. One of the basic tenets of socialism is government control. That's the basic tenet. The government, and you know what? The first step, the government controls what the citizen of the country makes. So, for example, if you're a teacher, the government sets your wage for that position, and you're not allowed to make over that wage. Same goes for the other professions. Sorry about that, tongue twister. Socialism is a philosophy of the government overseeing what is in the best interest of each individual person. People do not get to choose what's in their best interest. Everything is laid out right there from the top down, from dictators and those who control the power. This is what is now happening in Chicago. The Democrats have put forth a plan, one which I believe has been playing out for decades now. Here's how they do it. To control the masses, they're going to use the tax and spend model to the extreme so they can get the populace behind them. And now how do they do that? By taxing people. They tax these ignorant people to where it leaves them broke, and then come on with ideals like this universal bullshit to make them seem like they're the saviors, like they're trying to help them, thus gaining the control needed to advance their ultimate goal of socialism and dominance. America needs to wake up to what these people are doing. You know, the Bernie Sanders, the Maxine Waters, this new progressive out of New York. You know what? You're in some serious shit. Take Bernie Sanders, for example. Everybody loves him because he wants to give this. But he's a multi-millionaire. Most of the people in Congress and in the Senate are multi-millionaires. You know what? These people can care less about you people. They only care about themselves with their power. That's all it's about. If you don't get out there and hold people accountable, you're going to lose. And you're not going to like what comes next once they do gain what they want. So, with that, if you'd like to contribute to the show, I got the links for our YouTube stuff in the comments section, the Patreon for the monthly thing, and also our PayPal account. And we really appreciate it. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be able to do the Madhouse as much as we do, and we wouldn't be able to do this every morning. So, I really appreciate all your help, what you're doing for us out there. And you guys at Insane Throttle have been wonderful. We have, last 2 weeks, I think we hit like 2,000 people or something. We're at 10,000 follows right now, almost at 10,000 likes. And it's just been wonderful since all that bullshit that went on Facebook and our YouTube channel getting shut down. But the response has been great. Everybody coming rushing back and stuff like that. We also got a lot of different formats on Facebook as far as the biker lifestyle. You'll see all the videos we got going on up there, the wet t-shirt contest, the drags, rallies, stuff that the biker lifestyle is truly about. So, with that, I'll see you tomorrow, and keep safe and keep that throttle cracked.